Do the people involved in the creation of AI believe that it's a spiritual entity, that it's more than a machine?
So this is Tucker's trillion-dollar question. They talk about creating artificial intelligence. The real question, the real thing we should be concerned about, are you creating an artificial intelligence, or are you giving a body to a pre-existing intelligence that previously wasn't incarnated in the physical world? Intelligences.
Disincarnate meaning intelligence without a physical body.
Yeah, could we be creating a physical body for the demonic?
All right, this sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, but this is real. Scientists in China are actually working on a pregnancy robot. Yes, a robot that can get pregnant, because you know what could possibly go wrong. So it has an artificial womb in its stomach. It's fed through a hose, and the plan is for it to carry a fetus for 10 months and then give birth.
So you had complaints from one programmer who said you guys are basically stealing people's stuff and not paying them, and then he wound up murdered. What was that?
Also a great tragedy. He committed suicide.
Do you think he committed suicide?
I really do.
Have you looked?
This was like a friend of mine. This is like a guy that, and not a close friend, but this is someone that worked at OpenAI for a very long time. I was really shaken by this tragedy. I spent a lot of time trying to, read everything I could, as I'm sure you and others did too, about what happened. It looks like a suicide to me.
Why does it look?
You've been working on AI safety for 2 decades at least.
Yeah.
I was convinced we can make safe AI, but the more I looked at it, the more I realized it's not something we can actually do.
You have made a series of predictions about a variety of...
Associate Professor of Computer Science.
I haven't come to terms with what the development of superintelligence could do to my children's future. I'm okay. I'm 77. I'm going to be out of here soon. But for my children and my younger friends, my nephews and nieces, and their children, I just don't like to think about what could happen.
Now, if this war does not end, if there is no path to peace in the short term, then the United States, along with our allies, will take the steps necessary to impose costs on Russia for its continued aggression. If we must take this step, the U.S. War Department stands ready to do our part in ways that only the United States can do.
DARPA is something most Americans have never heard of. It's the biggest collection of geniuses anywhere in government. These are the guys that are creating not the next generation of technology, but 3 generations from now. If there are flying saucers and they're not little green men from outer space, DARPA made them. Seriously. This always struck me as very funny. DARPA's work is so classified that one DARPA scientist sitting next to another DARPA scientist has no idea what the other guy's working on. It's too...
In your view, China is preparing the ground for what?
In the view of U.S. intelligence officials and government leaders now for years, China is preparing to be able to fight and defeat the United States military in a war.
Mr. Trump says the war is over, but clearly the war is not over. The IDF is deployed to sections of Gaza still, and Hamas is still on the streets of Gaza. How can you say the war is over?
Well, we agreed to give peace a chance. We agreed that we should, the conditions in his 20-point plan are very clear. It's not only that we get the hostages out without getting our military out, but that we would subsequently have both demilitarization and disarmament. They're not the same thing. First, Hamas has to give up its arms.
This man is J.D. Vance. He's the vice president for Donald Trump. Like Barack Obama, he wrote a book, a bestseller called Hillbilly Elegy, and it's possible he becomes president of the United States as well. Now, you may not know this, but when he first came to prominence, he opposed Donald Trump. He thought that Donald Trump would be a fascist and be a dictator and all that. And then suddenly he changes his opinion and says, Donald Trump is the greatest guy in the world. Okay? So these guys, like J.D. Vance and Barack Obama, they have no ideas of their own. They're just puppets.
We're not closing up Republican programs because we think they work. So the Democrats are getting killed, but they're not telling the people about that. I say it, I haven't said it probably as bluntly as I just said it, but so we are closing up Democrat programs that we disagree with, and they're never going to open again. Thank you very much. Thank you.
This man is
a revolutionary. Aside from the fact that it just looks cool, from wheels up to touchdown, it's fully autonomous. And Dan said last year we flew the OPV Black Hawk here from the floor, and that aircraft now has 700 hours on it. And our Sikorsky innovation.
So I'm sure by now you've probably seen the videos circulating around of 2nd Battalion, 7th Marines practicing the civil unrest training that they're getting currently on the naval station south of Los Angeles. It's been going all over the place, but they seem to be doing pretty well. They're getting coordinated. Obviously, they're receiving some good training. You can see the instructors behind them.
We have to be careful with China. Look, I have a great relationship with President Xi, but sometimes it gets testy because China likes to take advantage of people, and they can't take advantage of us. But we have a fair relationship with China, and I think it'll be fine. And if it's not, that's okay too. You have to look. I'm very disappointed because Vladimir and I had a very good relationship. Probably still do. I don't know why he continues with this war. This war has been so bad for him. He's going into 4 years of a war that should have beaten. He should have won that war in 1 week. He's now going to soon be into his 4th year.
President Trump says he is focused on rebuilding Gaza. Now the UN's estimating that will cost about $70 billion. Former NATO Supreme Allied Commander, retired General Wesley Clark, has more on that. General, thanks for coming on. So how accurate do these first estimates tend to be? And
once Yahweh Shai returns, man, that's it. There will be no war after that. The nations won't have weapons to engage in a war. When we come down and we snatch these demons out of these bunkers, they're going to be hiding in the dens and in the caves of the earth, all right, asking the rocks to fall upon them to deliver them from the wrath of the Lamb.